Everyone thought she was just a sweet old lady watching from the sidelines, until someone jokingly passed her the ball. What happened next? One move, and the entire field fell silent. She dribbled like a pro, faked out the fastest player, and scored with the confidence of a world-class striker. But who was she? Why did no one know her name? Until now. Stay tuned, because this isn't just a story about football. It's about forgotten greatness, silent strength, and the day a legend returned without warning. The sun beat down on the dusty park field as a group of teenagers kicked a battered football back and forth. It was their usual weekend hangout, laughter echoing, sneakers sliding across the dirt, energy radiating from every movement. As they passed the ball around, teasing and showing off tricks, a frail figure appeared at the edge of the field, wearing a wide-brimmed hat, sunglasses, and carrying a cloth tote. She walked slowly toward the bench nearby. Her movements were cautious, but purposeful. The boys glanced her way, curious but dismissive. Just another elderly lady out for some sun, they thought. They had no idea who she was or what she used to be. "Hey, Grandma," one of them shouted, chuckling. "Want to play striker?" His friends laughed as she turned toward them, lifting her sunglasses just enough to reveal eyes sharp with focus. "Striker," she repeated, tilting her head slightly. "Haven't played in a while, but I could give it a go." They erupted in laughter. "Come on, this'll be fun," one said, tossing the ball her way. She caught it with surprising ease, rolling it under her foot and tapping it gently side to side. "Nice form," one joked sarcastically. "She's got more balance than Liam." The old lady smiled. "Let's see what I remember," she said softly. The boys cleared space and offered her the ball. "Just try to get past me," said Marcus, the tallest and most athletic in the group. "Let's see those grandma skills." The old lady took 2 steps back, examined the field like a surgeon preparing for operation, and then she moved, not stiff or slow, but swift and low to the ground, her footwork precise. With one sudden feint and a burst of speed, she danced past Marcus with ease. "Whoa!" someone shouted. "Did she just nutmeg him?" The group froze. She turned back and shrugged. "Lucky touch?" she offered innocently. "Let me try," yelled Caleb, the most competitive of the bunch. He wasn't about to be shown up by someone who looked old enough to be his great-grandmother. "All right, one-on-one, let's go." The boys circled around as a makeshift crowd. Caleb charged in aggressively, but the woman was calm. She let him commit first, then glided around him with a spin, move so smooth it could have been choreographed. The ball was always 2 steps ahead of his reach. Cheers erupted from the onlookers. "What is happening? Did we just recruit Messi's grandma? Bro, I can't breathe." She paused for a moment, breathing evenly, barely sweating. Her stance, posture, and control didn't belong to a beginner. She didn't just play football, she understood it. One of the quieter boys, Amir, stepped forward. "Ma'am, where did you learn to do that?" She chuckled. "YouTube," she teased. Then she added, "and the World Cup, a few decades ago." The boys fell silent. "Wait, what?" She gave a small smile and motioned for them to sit down. "Let me tell you a story," she said, placing the ball in her lap like it was a sacred artifact. "Back in the day I was known as the Phantom Winger." As the boys sat cross-legged on the grass, the old woman began to speak. "My name's Ish Margaret Doyle, Maggie to most. I played for the national women's team in the '70s, before we had TV deals, sponsors, or stadiums full of fans. We played for love, not likes." She spoke with humility, but her words painted vivid pictures of muddy fields, sleepless nights, grueling drills, and moments of glory no one remembered except her. "Back then," she continued, "you didn't get famous for playing football. You just hoped someone noticed." The boys were spellbound. "So wait, you were a pro?" played in Europe? Scored goals? She nodded, a little embarrassed. Once in the women's European final, I scored 2 goals against France. Our keeper made a third save and we won. But we flew home in economy class. No parade, no interviews, just silence. Football wasn't ready for women like us yet. Her voice had no bitterness, only realism. I left the game when my knees gave out, started coaching girls at local schools. Then one day, it all just faded away. But don't you miss it? One boy asked. She looked out toward the horizon. Every single day, she whispered. Not the fame, not the trophies, but the feeling of the ball at my feet, the way the world disappeared when I ran, the sound of the net rippling. Her voice drifted like wind. I thought that part of me was gone, until today. She stood up slowly, rolled the ball under her foot again. You boys reminded me of who I used to be, and maybe still am. The boys didn't want the moment to end. Can you teach us? Marcus asked eagerly. Like real stuff, footwork, dribbling, fakes? She raised her eyebrows playfully. You mean teach you how to lose with dignity? They all laughed. All right, warm up. Let's run drills. Just like that, the dusty park turned into a training camp. She barked out instructions like a seasoned coach. Keep your knees bent. Don't chase the ball. Let it chase you. Footwork first, flash second. Their smiles grew wide and their respect even wider. For the next 2 hours they trained like warriors. Maggie's movements remained sharp and disciplined. She didn't move like someone carrying years. She moved like someone who owned every year of experience. At one point she demonstrated a flick turn so clean it made everyone cheer. Who even are you? Caleb shouted between breaths. Just a woman with a past, she said, grinning. And maybe a few tricks left. Phones came out, clips were recorded, but the moment felt too pure for TikTok. It was something deeper. The news traveled fast. By the next weekend, the park had doubled in visitors. Girls from nearby schools, curious parents, even local journalists began to show up. Maggie stayed the same. No interviews, no attention seeking, just drills, corrections, and quiet wisdom. One reporter wrote a small article in the town paper, "The Phantom Returns." Someone even found an old, grainy clip from her European final. It went viral. The kids were thrilled. "You're a legend," one of them exclaimed. "You're our legend," another added. That summer became one they'd never forget. Every weekend was filled with drills, stories, and laughter. Maggie became more than a coach, but she was a mentor, a bridge to a forgotten era, a living lesson that greatness never truly fades. She treated them not like kids, but like equals, and in return they gave her the one thing missing from her glory days: recognition. The respect that time and systems once denied her. One afternoon a local club invited her to kick off their charity match. She hesitated at first. "It's been decades since I stood in front of a crowd," she said, but her boys, her team, encouraged her. "You've already won, coach," Amir said. "Just show the world what we already know." She finally agreed. On the day of the match, the small stadium buzzed with excitement. Maggie wore a simple tracksuit and brought her old boots, polished and ready. As she walked to the center of the field, the crowd rose, not in curiosity, but in reverence. She placed the ball down, took 3 steps back, and launched it with that signature curve, the kind only legends possess. The ball soared across the pitch and landed perfectly in the net. The crowd erupted, players paused, kids screamed, phones flashed. It was like watching time rewind and grace return. She raised her hand, once smiled, and whispered to herself, "Still got it." After the match, dozens lined up to greet her. Some brought old photographs, others asked for autographs. One teenage girl brought her jersey and said, "Can you sign this with your number?" Maggie blinked. "No one's asked for that in years." She wrote it slowly. Number 11, M. Doyle. That number, once worn by a forgotten winger, was now etched into new memories. Stories began to spread. Legends for once didn't fade, they passed forward. And just like that, the park became a place of legacy, not just play. Maggie Doyle's name, once buried by time, now lived in every corner of the field. She hadn't come back for fame, she came back for freedom. In every child's laughter, in every goal scored, a piece of her story lived on. Because legends don't retire, they inspire.